So the Ryanair Chase is another race we'll be covering on the Thursday. This is typically one of those, it's a bit of a head scratcher, sometimes even up to the day of the race. This year doesn't really look too different. I suppose there'll be a few people out there that got Imperial Aura at a reasonable price before he went and won quite nicely at Ascot. But as it stands now, there's horses that are towards the head of the market like every year that you're not 100% sure whether they're going to be Champion Chase bound, Gold Cup bound, or they're going to filter their way into this. I'm very reluctant to have any sort of strong opinion in here. The one that I'm semi-interested in, but I just don't even know if they'd ever run it here, would be Wait and Patiently. I'd love to see Wait and Patiently around Cheltenham, because I know that your man before he passed said that he wouldn't like it around Cheltenham, but the way he stayed on in that Tingle Creek, the way that he ran in the King George, which again shows that wasn't like a stayers race, the King George at Kempton, I don't think. I just think this has always been like made for him, and he might need softish ground, all that sort of stuff, but I don't know. They've campaigned him nicely considering he's fragile and all that sort of stuff, and got him to place big races. But I don't know. I'd like to see him in here, but there's no way I'll be putting him up or backing him anti-post. So yeah, I'm struggling for a real strong opinion here or any advice for anybody. But one man that has the Ryanair absolutely sewn up is Matt Himes. Matt, you got it nailed, didn't you?
The answer was staring you in the face from the start of the season, wasn't it? The Min just wins again. That was the obvious answer for me. I think he was too big at the start of the season at 10-1. He's won it last year. His style of running is ideal for a Ryanair. Won the John Durkin on his return this year. Not that we saw much of it. And he'll go back to the Dublin Racing Festival, run behind Jacques and Poursoir again, showing he's still the real deal, and just win again, mate. I think.
I reckon so as well, man. It's like I like him. When me and Darryl did a preview, I said that Min was like a guilty pleasure of mine. And I kept backing, and obviously he kept finishing back behind Altior. And then it was the fact that all those defeats came on the old course, and Min, we always said he never really showed his best form at Cheltenham, did he? The new course and the step up in trip as well. Maybe the combination of the two suited him, but I mean, yeah, if it was gun to head, I'd have to back him. I think the fact that him and Imperial Aura are about the same-ish price upsets me slightly, but that's as much as I can say on it, I think. Darryl, you got a better opinion than I have?
Last year, obviously, I was very, very, very keen on Min. Do you know what? I don't know what's going on this year with me, personally, because I seem to be like backing or leaning towards horses that I wouldn't normally back. And given the season I've had so far, that's probably not a good thing, but I might just back both sides of my opinion, back the ones that I'd normally back and then back the ones that I'm overthinking of. And I think that Melon's run in the Savage Chase just screamed Ryanair to me, to be honest with you. It was obviously second behind Sam Crow in the Marsh at Cheltenham. Runs really, really well at the festival. I think he's still improving. He's still got a bit more to come. The one worry I've got about Min is the same as Altior, is Min still operating at the same level as he was a year or two ago? And the fact that St. Calvados got within a neck to him in last year's Ryanair, and Min, I remember watching it because obviously I backed Min significantly. I remember watching it thinking, fucking hold on. Like he was all out to hold on. And I just wonder if now he's just starting to tick the other side of his peak, and that would concern me. At the start of the season, I backed Alejo for this race because I thought he was absolutely tailor-made for this. I thought he didn't stay in the RSA, and I thought straight away after that race, I thought immediately this horse will win the Ryanair. After his two runs this season, I'm not so sure. I can forgive him his run at Leopardstown and Savage Chase on a Broussard because it's over 3 miles. I don't think he stays 3 miles. Obviously, we didn't see what happened at Punchdown at John Durkin. I do like Alejo for this race, but I also like Melon for this race. I'd also give a massive shout to Lost in Translation if he ran there. He's 10-1 best odds on the Racing Post website. Like Dave just mentioned, if you go onto the betting exchange, you can get him 180-1. If he was to come in here, he'd have a hell of a chance because forgive his run in the King George. He never runs well at bloody Kempton. I don't know why they continue to send him there. It's ridiculous. He was not going to run well in a bog in a Betfair on heavy ground behind Bristol de Mai. I'd forgive him those 2 runs. He's still a very decent horse. He goes well at Cheltenham. He was only beaten 1 3/4 length, or 1.5 lengths behind Amble Photo in the Gold Cup. I don't think he quite gets that trip. I think this intermediate trip is right up his street. So I think he would have a massive chance if he came in here. Look, this is one of the most competitive races of the entire festival as far as I'm concerned. And I'm torn between a few at the minute. We're only in January. We've got a little bit of time to go. So, but that's where my leads lie at the moment. The likes of Plutard's not going to come in here. Frodon's not going to get a soft lead up in front if he goes in there. But I think they're going to go to the Gold Cup. I think they're just going to roll the dice and go there. I've got a feeling that this might cut up quite significantly. Storyteller would be interesting if he came in here. There's a few of interest. The ones that are not of interest for me really are Imperial Aura, and I'm quite happy to take Melon. I am, and I could be, like Matt said, looking a gift horse in the mouth here, but I just worry that he's just going over the other side of his peak now, and that would just concern me a little bit. 5-1, I couldn't have him at the moment.
Yeah, fair enough. All fair comments. The Lost in Translation one as well definitely excites me a bit. The fact that those entries are coming up now. If he you think they'd be foolish not to give him an entry at least, and then the fact that when they give him an entry, maybe a few more people might start to get him on his radar. So I think he's a fair enough shout. We didn't think he was going to stay in the Gold Cup trip. Dickie Johnson said it to us at that preview that he doesn't really stay the Gold Cup trip, and then he looked like he did. So that swayed my mind a little bit. But and he's not been very good this season. As Tizard horse has been a bit pants, isn't they? But I agree, mate. I think you can get 25-1 with Hills if you bet him with a bookie. But yeah, Exchange, there's some big prices about on there. Well, might not be by the time we put this up. Jamie, you've probably got this nailed, don't you?
Yeah, I backed Melon last year at a good price, and Dave. But I kind of agree with Daryl. What Daryl says, is he over the hill now? He's been in a lot of wars, at Cheltenham. I thought, to be honest, if you look back at the Ryanair last year, I thought it was the best ride at the festival. Because I tell you why. Because Frodon won the race last year, and Paul Town instead of coming around the corner, down the bend into the 2 fences there before you go up to the stands, weren't going quick enough. And this is how I'm going to get beat Frodon. Now, he did fall over the line, and I thought St. Calvados got a little bit too close for comfort for me, and I was the same. Would you please hang on? Because I backed him every time. I was like Matt. I had a little bit of a small poke at 10-1, not at confidence. To be honest, I can't see him out of the first 3, even because he runs. But I'm like Darren. There is a race in this Alejo. There has to be a race in this Alejo. I think if he goes out in front and really puts on everyone under pressure, the problem is that Willie Mullins' horse in the race, and that's Melon, because they're going to go out in front and set an absolute monster gallop. I think that could beat Min, because I think Min needs to dominate. Willie Mullins is a 3 horse in the race that like to dominate, and that is your problem with the race. Betting and running is the way to go in this race, to be honest with you. I really do, because they're all kind of front runners and they would like to be in front. So it's going to be very interesting. And looking at the race the last day, Melon looks nailed on for the race. Do you know what I mean? Problem with Melon, 4 seconds in a row at Cheltenham. Do you know what I mean? Is he going to get tap for toe at the very end? First, that little bit of a kick at the end after the last fence is the problem with Melon, and it always will be the problem with Melon. Melon's going to probably have to be 10 lengths clear jumping the last 2 minutes Cheltenham. Do you know what I mean? So, to me, I think it's between 3 Willie Mullins horses, but betting and running is going to be massive here, because it'll all depend who's out in front and who's going to stay there. And to be honest, I think the only horse that can burn them off on a going day is Alejo, and I think he could keep going. Am I confident? No, very much so. Darryl just choked on another West Kerry diesel there, but we'll send on. But I think it's between the 3 of them. Imperial Aura, I don't know, Darryl, to be honest.
I couldn't have him.
I don't, not for me. I think it's between the 3 William Mullins horses, to be honest with you. And if one of them win, would you be surprised which one wins? Do you know what I mean? It's one of those races. So I'll wait for the day now, and I'd have a few bets in running, because it's that type of a race.
Wise words from Jamie. However, the unwise words that you've both mentioned, and it's foul-mouthed of you, is to say that Melon's going to go Ryanair. He's not. He's going to go and win the Gold Cup. We'll come on to that at a later date. And there's a Willie Mullins horse that no one's mentioned that I'm going to mention now because he'll end up being a wise guy's choice and everyone else will try to claim it so I can crop this clip back. I'm telling you, Easy Game is definitely the one that's going to be coming here. And
can we stop this? Is it the Daryl, Matt, and Jamie show? Because if you're mentioning that horse, there's a chance in the right anyways to give up there.
Right, he's definitely got a chance. He can't really jump, can he? But he's only 7. He's still pretty much a babby.
No. Rewind again now, Dave. Say your previous statement there. He can't really jump. Fair enough. No. We'll move on. Come on, we go stairs on. Come on.
I mean, I think he's got a chance. I think he's too big a price. I think his name will come into mention in. He's going to run again before. Put him in the Burn Crew plate and put a 7-pound claim on him and see how. Yeah, he's a chance then. Oh nah. Well, I think you're being a little bit harsh to Easy Game there, but I'll leave it at that because I can't have that much of a strong opinion in it. But I wanted to mention him anyway, whether you like it or not. James,
you just mentioned these horses just to wind me up, Dave. I think.
I know. Yeah, what are they doing with Faheen? I mean, what are they doing with Faheen? Are they just giving him one spin and then going to Cheltenham? Are they going to target him sort of race? Do you know what they'll do?
Do you know what they'll do with Faheen, Darren? It's like when Moscow Flyer was 3-1 to win that race at Punchestown. You know that charity race? He'll run him one of them and he'll be a decent price. Then he'll win or something.
Oh, fair enough. It's worth an ask. He's a legend, isn't he? So it's worth an ask.
He is a legend. Yeah, great. What a great horse he was.
Absolutely legend. Right, we're going to move on to the stairs. I'm going to end this video here. Good night.